Good evening. My name is Dylan Rush, and I have the privilege of being your public speaking class. Today, I'd like to tell you about why women fighting for equality is actually women arguing for a step backwards. As somebody who grew up in a family of strong women, of a single mother and a sister, and with aunts and her children, and just all girls, I feel like I grew up in a minefield a little bit, but they never made excuses for what we didn't have. They never made excuses for having to work a little extra hard. I was surrounded by women who made no bones about being able to put in the extra mile, and honestly, I never feel like I didn't have. I never felt that I didn't have any needs met. The women that I grew up with were strong. They were encouraging. They were my providers. So today I see women arguing for equality, and I have to ask myself, what exactly are they asking for? In Genesis 1, God describes the creation of man and the creation of woman. And in man, he said he made this cultivator, and the Hebrew word for a cultivator is the avad, the A-V-O-D. And an avad is this cultivator, this being who is supposed to go and create and to find that which is broken and to fix it. To be this driving force that changes and does. And I feel like any man would not argue that is what we're supposed to be in this world. That is what they want to be. They want to have a sense of pride in their ability to change. They want to have a sense of accomplishment. They want to see something broken, and whether it be mechanically or emotionally, even spiritually in some cases, we want to go and put our hands and our words and our thoughts to it, to change it, to reshape it, to make something good. You never see a little boy, even at 8 years old, happier than when he can make his mom a house of popsicles or a bird feeder, and just to see, just wanting to see her face light up at this thing that he's made. Now, from our rib, which is an important piece because it's one of the few bones that actually produces red blood cells, meaning that this is literally blood of our blood. He makes woman. And the word he uses for woman was Ezer, E-Z-E-R. And that word is misused because the original translation, the first word you see if you look that word up, is helper. And the word Ezer comes up over 100 times in the Old Testament. And in all but maybe 4 occasions, it's used to talk about God. God is not your helper. God is not your secretary. God is not this secondary being to you that allows you to do your great things. An Ezer is this giver of life. An Ezer is somebody who can walk into a room and make everyone in that room feel encouraged, to make everyone in that room feel safe and secure. They are an advocate. They are someone you can confide in and talk to and be loved by, nourished by, and healed by. And I find that there are women who do not feel that this should be in any way. They say that, no, why can't I be this driving force of change? Why can't I be the doer? And please don't misunderstand that this is one illustration that God gave us, but it's not that women can't teach. It's not that women can't. If I'm being honest with you, I don't believe there's much that a man can do that a woman can't do just as well, if not better. There's this flair in this life that God gave to women that I just believe was different. In many ways, it's superior. And as men, we have a more analytical mind most of the time, to where if we were left in this world by ourselves, we would have the exact same houses, the exact same architecture, and it would be kind of bland, I feel. We would do the most efficient thing, but the Ezer comes, and the Ezer gives us life and gives us this driving force, because God looked at Adam and he said, what you're doing is fine, but you're lonely and you're hurt and you need something more. That it's just the painting isn't perfect, the picture isn't complete, so that my masterpiece, my last action, is I'm going to make the Ezer, I'm going to make the companion, and between the two of you, I'm going to make the most wonderful illustration of action and reaction. And this symbiotic relationship is what's made the church so great. As I that have seen men who have had ambition and drive, and they have the most patient and wonderful women beside them, that in most cases are the ones keeping them accountable, that are keeping them on the straight and know just as much as they do. Timothy tells us that, and this is during a time of revolution in the church, when Christian men are coming out and teaching the gospel and telling the good news of Jesus who had just passed, that women were our co-heirs. And I like to think as soon as that was said, a hush falls over the crowd, because in this very patriarchy society, that men were the rule. They were might makes right. They were superior. And women were the second-class citizen. They were inferior in so many ways and had so little right. And for this revolutionary teaching to take place, that not only are they our co-heir, that they are just as vital to the kingdom, just as important to God's plan as we men were, but that to impede them, to harm them, to belittle them, would actually cause God to turn a deaf ear to our prayers. Think about that. God called us to, even though physically we may be superior the majority of the time. I make no claim that I am so physically fit that there's not a woman out there who could take me. I had an older sister who to this day I'm still afraid of. And I've got a girlfriend who I believe in a fight she could take me. She's scrappy. But we're supposed to put them to a place of honor. That even though by all right we can do the exact same thing, the exact same way, that we're supposed to put them to a position of honor because God made them as this life-giving entity of just, it's why they're called woman. It's wow, man. And they should be honored and cherished. I think a lot of the fighting today is simply a money issue or a status issue, but it's just, I think they're still just a symbol of the time, and that time has been slowly moving forward where women have gone from being livestock to they're female CEOs. And we had a female running in our election this past year. The times are changing. And the place of women has never been directly beside us. That from the very beginning they were meant to be in a place of honor, a place of worth. And that fighting specifically for equality, I believe, would be a step back.